Listeners, readers, welcome to this Fox Page recommendation where I take a few minutes to tell you why I think you might or might not want to read this book I love. Today we're talking about Foster by Claire Keegan. I am sure if you are a bookstore visitor, which I would imagine most of you are very happily spending time in bookstores, this is one of those ones that you've likely seen, often at the checkout, they'll have this next to its green and white covered partner. These books are so incredibly appealing that I'm sure they have caught your eye. As you all know, I'm actually kind of a sucker, and I'm not afraid to judge a book by its cover, for better and for worse. And as soon as I picked this up and realized that it fit right in with my obsession with Ireland, I decided I needed to buy both for several people, not just myself, and dive in. I waited because honestly, I was so deep into my Irish obsession that they kept getting pushed to the bottom of even the Irish literature pile next to my bed. But I can tell you that I just finished this book. I read it all in a day. It's 92 pages long. And lots of space on the page, nice wide spacing between even the sentences. It really is it is a novella. It's under 140 pages. It's almost, no, I would say novella. I was gonna say it's almost like a long short story, but it was maybe a few hours of reading, and I was absolutely transported. I was not going to make any recordings today. In fact, I was not going to get out of my sweats. And yet I was so moved, and I was so excited about the idea of just telling you a little bit about this book that I took a shower and here I am. This is an unbelievable book. When I have talked about Cassandra at the Wedding by Dorothy Baker, I said at one point that I think that's coming very close to a perfect novel. This right here, I can say without hesitation, is a perfect novella. It is unbelievably good. So there is a huge amount of plot actually that's happening. So this was a book, honestly, part of the reason I read it all today was because there's this incredible tension that is building, and it's building and building, and there's this sense of sort of like this low level kind of threat that runs through the whole entire book in a way that is so delicious. And I am not a fan of feeling threatened. And I'm not a fan of feeling, like that rising sense of like, oh my God, what is going to happen? Except that in this case, it is so beautifully done. It is not only a page turner because you're just dying to know what is going on, but it is this incredible iteration of prose that is just, it's so incredibly well done. So the prose itself is often fairly spare. It feels very sort of basic. It's told from the perspective of a young girl, and the language in some ways is sort of stripped down in a way that a child might speak, and yet there's nothing kind of juvenile. Well, there are some things that are kind of juvenile about it, but only in the sense that children seem sort of open to wonder and to nuance and to novelty and to fresh things. So this young girl is sent to live with family, hence the name, and she, for a summer, and their relationship and several different things happen. But there is this palpable sense of really wanting to turn that page. Claire Keegan's amazing at ending chapters and not letting you put the book down. She's also incredible with figurative language. So you all know that I'm sometimes not a huge fan of overwrought metaphors or similes, and I would rather have someone write in straightforward prose than turn over a lot of kind of mediocre figurative language. This is unbelievable. There is incredible personification throughout, symbolism, foreshadowing. I mean, it is one of these books. I could do the parlor trick that I do sometimes when we meet live, where I open up the book to a certain page number and a certain line. I get those two numbers from different attendees. And if the prose is really incredible, then it will be, a very rich sentence that I'll be able to pull apart. And never have I wanted to do that little parlor trick more than with this book. There is not a single page that doesn't have tons of marginalia. There's also, it's one of the most satisfying endings I can remember having read in a long, long time. And it's an ending that's very well earned. It's one that's so satisfying and so just absolutely. I'm not going to tell you too much about it, but it's difficult and beautiful and just so incredibly well done. And it really, when I say satisfying, I mean that it truly is this incredible outgrowth of all of the work that Claire Keegan does for the preceding 90 pages. As always, I'm going to go ahead and read 2 different lines from the novel, the novella. And honestly, I can't imagine that you won't like these lines, but if for some reason you don't, I still think you need to read this book. Okay, on page 1 right here. Early on a Sunday after first mass in Clonigal, my father, instead of taking me home, drives deep into Wexford toward the coast where my mother's people came from. Seems simple, seems straightforward, and yet you do get a sense of huge changes to come. Okay, and then on page 8, on page 8, right toward the middle here, so her father arrives at the home where he is going to leave her, and they are sitting in the kitchen with the couple. The father speaks, and then the wife of the couple speaks. The father says, "Wouldn't the fields be glad of a sup of rain? Won't we have the rain for long enough?" She looks at the wall as though a picture is hanging there, but there is no picture on that wall. Just a big mahogany clock with 2 hands and a big copper pendulum swinging. Oh my God, you guys. I mean, it's just all I can do to not break that entire sentence down for you, just to just give a sense of the goodness. But I'm not going to, because you will have to listen to the 90-minute lecture to really get all of the goodness, every last little bit out of this. But I cannot recommend it highly enough, whether or not you want to listen to the lecture. This is an outstanding book. It's also a really good gift. I'm just going to say it for any reader, certainly. And it's just so appealing. And its companion piece, the green covered one, whose name I cannot remember now, but also by Claire Keegan, just absolutely incredible, incredible books. Okay, enjoy. Happy reading.